Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. Today we're going to be talking about the strange truck that plays even stranger audio in Revelations. I'm not talking about the one in the spawn with the wisp on it, nope. I'm talking about the one in the Origins area, and Fate Awaits on Reddit has done a little bit of digging and found something rather interesting related to that truck. So what I'm going to do first of all is play you some audio that the truck is playing in the map itself so you can get a feel for what it actually sounds like. So, that was the truck, that's what it sounds like, they are the weird noises coming from it. It sounds like someone is tuning through the different radio frequencies, and what Fate Awaits has managed to find is that if we actually reverse that audio and are very careful when we're listening to it, and probably turn off like your music effects and your voice volume and things like that in games, so you're only listening to the sound effects, you will hear fairly clearly a person talking. It's not just talking about any old crap though, it's actually specifically giving what sounds sort of like directions or coordinates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the clip in reverse for you guys now, and I'm going to play it twice. The first time will be regular speed, so it'll just be the actual clip, but in negative 100% speed, if you will. And then the second time I play it, I'll be playing it slowed down and reversed, but slowed down just a little bit, so you guys can have another listen to what exactly is going on and being said. Now, while you listen, I want you to drop a comment down below with what you think the correct subtitles would be on these clips, because it's fairly difficult to hear every single word that's being said exactly, and so I think that we need to have a little bit of a collaborative effort going on to make sure that we get what we are hearing right. So leave a comment with what you think you are hearing when I play the clips now.
And Roger, so can I have your next position after 170 east? And 13 north, 180 east. Roger, stand by your cycle. And Roger, so can I have your next position after 170 east? And 13 north, 180 east.
So to me, it sounds like it says, "And Roger, can I have your next position after 170 east? And 13 north, 180 east. And Roger, stand by for vitals? Or stand by for VTOL? Or something like that." Like, it's really hard to make out that last chunk, but I think roughly that is the gist of the message. Now, why is this interesting, right? It's not like a direct, "the summoning key is in Bosnia." It's nothing like that by any means, but it is still interesting because this is something that the Treyarch sound team will have consciously put in. And in case you've been living under a rock for the last 17 million years, the Treyarch sound team are very, very careful about the audio that they're putting into the maps. They don't tend to just chuck stuff in willy-nilly without thinking about it. They are extremely attentive and really just masters of craftsmanship and craftswomanship, I suppose, as well, because the content that they put in the game always has relevance, always has meaning, and is always very well thought out. And so, in this particular case, they would have known that we would find this. 100%. They would have been fully aware of that fact. And so, this is something that they will have known that we would find and hear and start thinking about. And so, there's a good chance that it's going to have some kind of relevance in some capacity. Now, what could that relevance be? Well, we've got a message that seems to have some kind of directions or coordinates or something like that. Certainly, if we look to the past, things like the original radio in Shino Numa, if you're in the Shino Numa spawn and you activate those 3 radios, you hear a message that starts off R-4808N. That's a classic radio. I love that thing to pieces because it gives us information about Peter, who should be mentioned in Revelation somewhere, but we haven't haven't seen the damn man, but I digress. That message is very reminiscent of this one, or rather the other way around. This message is very reminiscent of that Shinonuma radio because that Shinonuma radio contains coordinates at the beginning and coordinates at the end. And these aren't really conventional coordinates, or at least they don't seem to be, in my understanding at least, but they do seem to be directions in that same style. So definitely reminiscent of that original radio, which I went into some depth with in my brief history of Peter McCain video, so I'm going to play you a clip from that now. If you want to watch the full video, then it's linked in the description down below, and at the end of the clip it will be linked in the corner of the screen up there as well, but here it is, the radio in my brief history of Peter McCain. We first started learning about Peter in a recording created by his handler, Cornelius Purnell, which originated from the 935 outpost dubbed The Swamp. The transcript is as follows.
R-4808N 37 14 06 115 48 40.
I hope you're receiving this transmission, Peter. If you are not, then all is already lost. You must know by now that we failed to contain the asylum, and that we had to move the experiment here. Location. The number who guide you. The giant must remain. Cause. Repeat. There is more. Safe at all costs. The DC-2 experiments continue. Maybe our only advantage now. Find Dr. Max's. They may know what's going on. The use of 115 is dangerous at best. I'm not sure we can continue here. We've lost most of our best. I hope you get this. I hope it hasn't happened there too. But I'm almost out of hope.
60 54 06.96 101 55 44.94.
Much was learned from this recording. The message begins with the automated coordinates for restricted airspace at Area 51. You see what I mean? I feel like there's a little bit of a link there. Not necessarily a direct link in terms of, oh, they must be from the same person, or, oh, it's the same faction or something. Nothing like that. I'm just saying that they sound similar because it's of the same style of giving a load of numbers to specify some kind of location. Which brings me on to the idea of what this could actually be. I've seen a few different theories bubbling up about this. I've seen some people saying, well, the truck looks visually similar to the truck in Shadows of Evil where we get the summoning key from. That's the truck that belongs to the reporter who ends up getting stabbed by Richtfin. In fact, we find out about that in DE with the cipher that says, I meet the reporter who was to deliver the artifact. He said he was going to bring it on his truck in a crate, but when I arrived, the reporter was babbling, acting wildly, waving a letter in his hand telling me to stay away, etc. The message goes on. But some people have been saying, well, this truck looks fairly similar, and so maybe it's related to that in some way. Maybe this was a message for the reporter. Personally, I'm sort of doubtful of that, but then at the same time, we know that that reporter was told to look for strange rocks and things in Russia as well. The quote there being, it's just all the stuff you've had me do, tracking down ancient artifacts in the South Pacific, finding all these strange metals and rocks in Russia. And I still haven't met you face to face. That is the Shadows of Evil quote, and so maybe, I guess, these could be related to that reporter getting directions in order to be able to find these artifacts. Personally, I think that that is a bit of a tenuous theory, but at the end of the day, I don't really know who else it could be. Where else it could be from. I mean, yeah, you could say, well, it's maybe a CIA direction to Peter to say, Peter, we need you to receive this message and go to a certain place and something like that. And especially seeing as it does sound so similar to that original Shinonuma radio, maybe there's some credence to that theory, I don't know. But what I wanted to do in this video is essentially talk a little bit about what it could be. So we've got potential reporter message or potential message for Peter, and also just sort of signal boost it a bit so that it got the community talking, because I feel like a lot of people don't know that this is here right now. I feel like Fate Awaits' Reddit post didn't get a massive amount of exposure, and so I figured it might be a good idea to just talk about it and signal boost it a bit, just so that if someone wants to go in depth with this and really try and figure out what's being talked about here or who this is going to and things like that, they can do. I'm essentially basically saying, guys, there's a pretty cool find, here are some thoughts about it, enjoy. Hopefully you have enjoyed, by the way. If you have, leave a like. I've done thumbs up 3 times in a row, that's 4, that's 5. But Thanks for watching the video, leave a like if you've enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.